Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Freedom comes with a price. Who knows it better if not we Indians? Our ancestors have struggled and sacrificed a lot for the freedom that we enjoy today. In this chapter of Class 8, Glimpses of India, we will know and understand what led to the first war of independence in 1857. Before you read, here are some pictorial glimpses. Glimpses means a quick view of someone or something. Of the history of our country from 1757 to 1857. These pictures and speech bubbles will help you clarify your understanding of the conditions that led to the event known as First War of Independence in 1857. In this chapter, in the form of pictures and speech bubbles means dialogue between people, history of country from 1757 to 1857 has been explained, which will help us understand what led to the first war of independence in 1857. The martyrs. Martyrs are people who died for a cause. Here, the martyrs are people who sacrificed their life for freedom of our country. At a function in Delhi. O my countrymen, let your eyes fill with tears as you recall the sacrifice of India's martyrs. At a function in Delhi after freedom, the Nightingale of India, Lata Mangeshkar, sang a song. The lyrics were, "Ae mere watan ke logo, zara aankh mein bhar lo pani." In this function, many people cried after listening to the song. There were very important people also present in the function, like then Prime Minister of India Jawaharlal Nehru, Mr. Lal Bahadur Shastri, Indira Gandhi. The song brought tears in the eyes of Jawaharlal Nehru as well. The company's Conquest, 1757 to 1849. Conquest means act of conquering or taking control of something. So now we will study what led to the conditions to the freedom struggle in 1857. First, let's understand what happened between 1757 to 1849. With its superior weapons, the British East India Company was extending its power in 18th century India. British had superior technology. They had superior weapons like guns and tanks, while Indians were not that advanced in technology. Because of that, British East India Company, it extended its power in India in 18th century. It started from Bengal and gradually it started spreading all over India. Indian princes were short-sighted. Short-sighted means not considering what will happen in the future. They couldn't see the future. That upstart Raja, upstart means a person who has recently risen in rank and power but behaves as if he or she is very important. That upstart Raja, call the English merchants. They will help me to defeat him. So Indian princes were short-sighted. They couldn't see that British, those who are helping them to conquer their neighboring kingdoms now, can conquer them one day. They took the help of British to fight with their neighboring kingdoms or their enemies. The people had no peace due to such constant fights. There were constant fights between kings and their neighbors, and people were not at peace with such fights. The rivalries means competition, helped the East India Company, and it could easily subdue Indian princes one by one. Subdue means suppress or defeat. So these rivalries between neighboring kingdoms, this helped East India Company, and they could easily defeat Indian princes one by one. One by one, they conquered them and they took their land under them. A far-seeing ruler like the brave Tipu of Mysore fought the British till he died fighting. There were few far-seeing rulers like great Emperor Tipu Sultan, great King of Mysore Tipu Sultan, but he died fighting them. How did Indians react to these conquests? So there were different opinions among Indians about these conquests, about these fight and help of British. Thank God there is peace in the country now. No more wars and no looting by thugs. It is God who sent the British. Our destiny is linked with them. So some of them thought British were good for them. They thought that now finally there is peace in the country and it is God who has sent the British, and their destiny, that means British are good for them. They have come there to change their destiny. While others have different thoughts. The white man has killed or dethroned our kings. Some kings were not good, but after all, they were of this land. Now we have become slaves of the foreigners. While others thought that those British, they are not good for them. They have killed or dethroned. Dethroned means removed from kingdom. Their king. They were after all, the kings were after all from their own lands. They were not foreigners. Now they thought they will have to become slaves to these British foreigners. British rule 1765 to 1836. Religious leaders preached ideas like untouchability and child marriage. Anyone who crosses the seas loses his religion. All the misery in the world is due to women. Indian society was not that educated. There were many social evils and superstitions prevalent in the society. Religious leaders, they used to teach ideas like untouchability and child marriage. Untouchability was a system in which society was divided on the basis of caste, and some castes were considered so low that they were not even allowed to touch. Children were married at a very early age. Crossing the sea was considered against religion. Women, they had no right. In fact, they were considered the cause of all the problems in the world. So the society had such regressive thoughts. The truth was that Indians had lost self-respect. The British scorned them. Scorn means disrespected them. The natives are unworthy of trust, incapable of honesty. True your honor, but I am honest. Natives means locals of that area. British, they used to disrespect Indians. They used to think that they cannot be trusted and they are not honest. Still, some Indians were slaves to them. Being merchants, the British wanted quick profit. Their heavy taxes forced farmers to abandon their fields. Abandon means leave. Since British were merchants, they wanted to make quick profit. They levied heavy taxes on the farmers, due to which farmers had to leave their fields. But your men are taking all my crop. You are still in arrears. If you don't pay next week, I will send you to jail. Arrears means money that somebody owes that he or she should have paid earlier. Farmers were being ruined completely because of the heavy taxes. If they were not able to pay taxes, British used to take their crops or their field, and they also used to threaten them by putting them into jail. Still, the British invented other methods which gave them more profit. The goods manufactured in England should not have any import duty when brought into India. A good idea. After ruining farmers, they came up with other methods of making profit. One of the idea was that the goods, the products that are made in England, when they come to India, there should be no import duty. Import duty is the tax which is put on products that come from other country into some other country. So, British made products made in England free of import duty. The East India Company's laws began to cripple Indian industries. Cripple means destroy. Due to the laws of East India Company, Indian industries were being destroyed. They were being completely ruined. Inevitable famines followed. Inevitable means unavoidable. Famines means a lack of food over a long period of time in a large area that can cause the death of many people. So there were famines in India between 1822 and 1836, in which 15 lakh Indians died out of starvation. Starvation is extreme hunger. Because of extreme hunger, around 15 lakh Indians died. The British policies ruined the expert artisans and their business. Because of the British policies, Indian craftsmen were also ruined. Ram Mohan Rai, 1772 to 1833. There were some reformers in India like Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Ram Mohan Roy, a learned man from Bengal, understood what was wrong with the country. He understood what was the problem with the country. Let us not despise ourselves. Despise means hate. Our ancient culture is great and we are capable of greater achievement. We must first reform our society. Superstitions have been ruining us. He understood what is wrong with the country. He told his countrymen not to hate themselves and be proud of our ancient culture, which is great. He understood that they need to reform their society and free it of all the superstitions, because superstitions were ruining them. He told his wife Uma, cows are of different colors, but the color of their milk is the same. Different teachers have different opinions, but the essence of every religion is the same. Essence means basic quality. He even told his wife Uma that the way cows are of different color but their milk is same, similarly we may have different religions in our country, but the basic quality, basic knowledge of all the religion is same. He was attracted by science and modern knowledge. Knowledge should be practical and scientific. He started newspaper, but the suspicious British stopped them in 1823. He was very modern in approach. He wanted knowledge which should be practical and scientific. He even started a newspaper to teach his fellow Indians, but British, who were suspicious of him, they stopped his newspaper. He crossed the seas and went to England to see what made the British powerful. There he told them, "We accept you as rulers and you must accept us as subject. But you must remember the responsibility a ruler owes to his subject." So he even crossed the seas, which was against religion. He went to England and he tried to see there what made British more powerful. He told them that we accept you as our rulers. You can be our rulers and we are your subject. But you should know your responsibility as a ruler towards your subject, towards the people whom you are ruling. Operation 1765 to 1835. Operation means to subdue. Still, British were oppressing Indians, but the British continued to oppress Indian. In 1888, they had passed Regulation 3rd. Under it, an Indian could be jailed without trial in a court. So there were different ways in which they were oppressing Indians. Like in 1818, they passed a regulation under which any Indian could be put behind the bar without even trial in the court. All the time, British officers in India drew big salaries and also made fortunes in private business. While during that time, British officers who were in India, they were getting big salaries, and they were also making profit by doing business in India. By 1829, Britain was exporting British goods worth 7 crore rupee to India. The British prospered on the company's loot while Indian industries began to die. Prosper means to flourish or to be successful. So by 1829, Britain, they were exporting goods worth 7 crore to India. 7 crore at that time was a very, very big amount. While British were making profit, Indian industries were crippling. They were dying. Governor General Bentinck reported back home, "The bones of cotton weavers are bleaching the plains of India." The situation was so bad that even Governor General Bentinck, he reported at his home that Indians are completely ruined. They have nothing. In fact, now they have just their body, which is bleaching the plains of India. The plains of India is colored because of their blood. There is nothing in India now. Dissatisfaction, 1835 to 56. Soon, dissatisfaction emerged among Indians. Education in India was in Persian and Sanskrit. In 1835, an Englishman named Macaulay suggested a change. Since the education was in Persian and Sanskrit, it was not of any use to the British. So an Englishman named Macaulay, he suggested a change. "We should teach the natives through the English language." I agree. So he suggested the change that Indians should be taught in English language. English education produced clerks to whom the British gave petty jobs under them. Incidentally, it also produced a new generation of intellectuals. So they wanted to educate Indians in English so that they can give small jobs like that of clerks to Indians, petty jobs, small jobs. "We must educate our brothers and try to improve their material condition. For that, we must convey our grievances to the British Parliament." So British wanted Indians to do petty jobs, so that is why they taught them English. At the same time, with the teaching of with this new knowledge, a new generation of intelligent person were created in India, and they thought that they should educate their fellow Indians, and for that they should convey their grievances in the British Parliament. Grievances means something that you think is unfair and that you want to protest or complain about. By 18 1856, the British had conquered the whole of India. So by that time, British had won over almost the whole of India. They cared little about the needs of Indians. Our kings have become puppets and we have lost our jobs and lands. They are converting our brothers. You only talk, do something to drive them out. So there was increasing dissatisfaction among Indians. They knew, they could understand that their kings are just puppet to British, and they are also losing their jobs. Some of them were so dissatisfied they wanted to do something rather than just talking. The sparks, 1857 to 57. Now gradually the spark of revolt started emerging. Taxes continued to ruin the peasants. Peasants are farmers. In Bengal, the Santals, who had lost their lands under new land rules, became desperate. In 1855, they rose in rebellion and massacred European and their supporters alike. Rebellion means fighting against authority. Massacred means kill on a mass scale, on a large amount. So Santhal tribe in Bengal, they became continuously dissatisfied. They became desperate, and in 1855 they started fighting against the authority, and they also killed Europeans and their supporters on a large scale. Discontent was brewing in the East India Company's army too. There was dissatisfaction in East India Company army too. The white soldier gets a huge pay, mansions to live in, servants, while we get a pittance and slow promotion. Pittance means petty amount. So those sepoys, people who were in British army, they were dissatisfied because they knew that British soldiers, they are getting huge amount, they are getting big houses to live in, they are getting servants, while we Indians are getting only petty amount. The Angrez ask us to cross the sea, which is against our religion. Who is the Topiwala to abolish our old age custom? Abolish means to end. They also knew that they also were aware that crossing sea is against their religion. Still, the Angrez, the British, they are abolishing, they are ending such thoughts, and they want us to cross. Who are they to tell us to go against religion? We must drive out the Angrez. Such kind of thought started emerging that they should drive the Angrez out, they drive the British out. There was a soldier, Mangal Pandey, who attacked the adjutant of his regiment, and he was immediately executed, killed at that time. Thousands of other sepoys revolted. They were stripped of their uniform, humiliated, and put in irons. Humiliated means shamed. Other soldiers who revolted, they were killed or they were put behind the bar. Few Englishmen had cared to understand Indian customs or the people's mind. There were few Englishmen who were supportive, who could understand the mindset of Indians. O proud Brahmin soldier, do you know that the grease on the bullet you have to bite is made from the fat of cows and pigs? They told that the grease that they have to bite from their mouth, it is made up of the fats of cows and pigs, which was extremely against religion for Indian Brahmins. So they became discontent, they became angry. What? The white men had deceived us too. Deceived means cheated. People of other religion also knew that British were cheating them as well. Soon chapatis were sent from village to village to tell people that their emperors would want their service. Yes, all my village men will be ready. Similarly, lotus flowers circulated among the Indian soldiers. Death to the foreigners. The masses gave all help and shelter to the patriots. Soon chapatis were circulated as a mark showing that the emperor need help of its subject. And similarly, lotus was circulated among Indian soldiers. So there was discontent, they all wanted to revolt. And the revolt finally started in 1857. Then there was a violent outbreak at Meerut. The sepoys marched to Delhi. Long live our Emperor Bahadur Shah. So it started from Meerut, the revolt started from Meerut, and soon the Indian soldiers, they started marching towards Delhi, where their Emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar was. The rebellion spread wider. Many landlords had lost their lands because of the British policies, and they were sore. The white men's rule must end. Yes, we will help you. So starting from the soldiers, it went towards Delhi, and many landlords who had lost their land because of the rules of British, they also wanted to revolt, and they contributed. The fight of freedom, 1857, and hence started the first struggle of freedom. Many former rulers like Begum Hazrat Mahal of Lucknow was bitter. The white men had taken away my kingdom. They joined the upsurge against the foreigners. Upsurge means a sudden increase of something. So many rulers like Begum Hazrat Mahal, who has lost her land, they also joined this rebellion. Popular leaders like Maulvi Ahmadullah of Faizabad told the people, "Rise, brother, rise, and Angrez is ruining our land." The people rose everywhere in Bareilly, Kanpur, and Allahabad. So something which started from Meerut spread all over the north of India. Azimullah Khan told Tatya Tope, "We should have Peshwa Nana Sahib as our leader in the War of Independence." So they called it a War of Independence, and they suggested people who should be their leaders. The patriots pounced upon the British and fought pitched battle all over North India. So the battle of 1857 was spread all over North India. People of all age group, all kinds contributed in the battle. 80-year-old Kuwar Singh of Bihar received a bullet in his wrist. "Mother Ganga, this is my last offering to you." Even 80-year-old Kuwar Singh of Bihar sacrificed his life for his homeland, for his country. So this is how the revolt, the sparks of 1857 happened. If you want to know more about it, you can refer to your history book or search on the internet. Now students, you can see the question answers here. Pause the video and see the question answers. I would like you to attempt them first and then cross-check your answers. I hope you take pride in the freedom that we have got and respect it. This was about the chapter, students. Bye-bye for now. Take care.